Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Phandalin by Night stream, our second game. Thank you for coming and joining us. I don't have Twitch open, so if sound is off or something, you're going to send a note in our super awesome Twitch chat, and Graja is going to let me know. Sarah Prime up there is going to let me know. And yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Happy Disability Pride Month. Welcome to the Vancouver by Night channel. And I'm going to start by just introducing our players. They can tell you a little bit about their characters. And then I'll do our wrap up from last campaign. So starting with two above me, that is Mike. Mike, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us about your character?
Hi, I'm Mike. I am playing Velen. He is a sorcerer. He doesn't know why. He's here with this bunch of kaleidoscopic friends now, fast friends, and we're here escorting a caravan, a cart, and I just got shot. So
That's true. That's true. That's a thing that happens. Yep.
not having a great day so far.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's going to be just fine. Just below Mike is our friend Nikki.
Hello, I'm playing Denny, he, him. Denny is a bard, he is a tiefling, and he is here for a good time, not a long time. Maybe. We'll see.
Classic trooper reference. My in-laws will greatly appreciate the trooper reference. If you're from America or somewhere else that's not Canada, basically, you need to go and Google that song. We'll just sit here and wait. That is the priority at this point. You need to know what that song is.
Well, that's Denny's theme song now, so.
That's my homework for after this game.
It is the most epic song. Basically, we need to contact Trooper and see if we can license that for our stream song, because that is epic. Thank you. We're super excited for our bard. Going over just to the left of me, this is our amazing player who's going to play Jart.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Jart, the Fire Genasi monk, and we're here to kick some ass.
It's true. Would be an excellent remix of the other song that we were talking about, so brilliant. Above that is Amanda.
Amanda, I play Whimsy, the tiefling warlock, who's definitely not a warlock, just saying. And he's really just here for a good time. Full stop. Here as long as it takes, but for a good time.
It's already an interesting party, in case you can't tell. And above that, our final player, that is Graja. Well, Sarah Prime, but she plays Graja.
Hello, my name is Sarah. I am playing your half-orc barbarian, Graja Rage Rock, and as my name suggests, I'm ready to rage in my first battle of this campaign, and I have been excited all week, so I'm ready to do this.
Excellent. So, for those of you who are watching... Sorry, Mike, say that again.
I would like to humbly submit, if I may, that our song should actually be Raise a Little Hell, also by Trooper.
Oh, yep. I like that.
All right. We're gonna get...
Depending on how this goes.
We're going to get our at Vancouver by Night host, Steve, to set up like a poll somehow. We're going to figure this out. We are going to be working on this behind the scenes. That'll be a question for our production team later. But for those of you who are watching, thank you for watching. Please be aware that sometimes our stream does have things that you may not be super into watching, including maybe graphic descriptions of combat or other situations that might arise. As a table, we have set up some consent guidelines, and we encourage you to know your own limits, and you can feel free to pause or step away for a few minutes if you need to. My players know that they can reach me in our chat if anything is going on for them, or just let me know. And the other thing, because we're still kind of a new stream, and I'm a new DM to this channel, I just wanted to let the stream know about a way that I manage combat, because that's what we're going to be starting with today. So for combat, I am definitely that DM who lives by rule of cool and cinematic moments. But also combat is over when combat ceases to be fun. So you'll see, for those of you who are watching, the goblins you see my screen, so you see the goblins have a certain amount of hit points. If my players are really just loving wailing, especially this is our first combat, they're loving wailing on the goblins, maybe the goblins end up with a few more hit points than they normally have. At some point, that will end. I just ask that you please buy into our moment and don't spoil it for my players in the Twitch chat or anything. If you disagree with the way that I'm DMing, you are certainly welcome to contact me on Twitter, where I will likely tell you you're free to run your table the way that you want to, and I run my table for the enjoyment of my players and myself. So with that being said, let me do our wrap up of last week, and then we're going to get right into combat. So the group assembled at dawn on the docks in Neverwinter, with Graja and Jart arriving plenty early, Velen arriving in a reasonable pre-shift time frame, like enough time to like clock in and change, like, you know, to do all that stuff you need to do. Whimsy arrived right on time. Denny was more of the fashionably late style. They noticed that the horses that Sildar and Gundren were riding had blue and white streamers in their hair, very full and packed saddlebags, and a map case attached to Gundren's. The group talked amongst themselves while waiting for everybody, and Gundren, the very not morning person, finally got awake enough to say goodbye and let them know that they would meet them in a few days in Phandalin. The group spent their first night having lively conversation and showing off some of their skills and abilities. The two Genasi were able to use their command of the elements to create fire and also ice cubes, so cheers, Denny, for all of your ice drinks that you're going to get. Denny gave a performance that none were quick to forget, although Graja was very inspired by the banjolele. The next night's watch was pretty uneventful, and over the next 2 days, the team made their way onto the Tribord Trail, eventually coming to a stop as a bend in the road was blocked by two dead horses with white and blue streamers braided into their manes. Huge, thick-shafted, black-feathered arrows had taken down these magnificent beasts, and it appears that the saddlebags had been raided and the map case was empty. Denny noticed a bow peeking out of the shrubs and quickly raised his rapier to interfere with the shot, saving Velen from taking multiple direct hits, although one of the arrows does manage to pierce the thickness of his arm, which is why we're going to begin with initiative. So everybody, roll your first initiative, friends. And I am going to, so for those of you who maybe are new, maybe you haven't DM'd before, and you're kind of new, we use Roll20 for our maps, and it's got this super awesome feature where you can manage initiative right in the game, which is awesome. On Monday nights, I try to add a stream on my channel where I just talk about the way that I set things up, the way that I run things. I do a little bit of session prep, so my players aren't allowed to watch and add to my my viewer count, unfortunately, but that's okay. And yeah, so one of the things that we have in Roll20 is this super amazing initiative tracker. So I am just going to roll my dice, and when I have more than one of something, I just give them all exactly the same initiative, just to make things simpler. Jart, what was your initiative?
21.
21, nice. Velen?
Not 18.
Mike?
Oh, sorry, me?
Yeah.
5.
That's a number. Denny?
It's the number.
I got a
there.
19.
19,
Dang.
all right. Graja?
I got 3.
3's a number. You know what? That's
It
okay. You're going to
sure
come
is.
in and just sweep them. It's okay. Whimsy?
17.
17.
Jeez.
Right. So, why?
He doesn't know what he's gonna do, but he's ready to do something.
All right. I'm not sure if you guys on your Roll20 can see the turn order, but I've opened the window and it just helps everybody keep track to know when your turn is coming up. And so I can kind of see that everybody's on here, which is awesome. So, Jart, you're going to go first. What are you thinking?
Well, Jard's gonna see like there's two guys here, so she's gonna run.
Okay.
She's gonna whack the first one with a punch.
Okay.
So the one on the
and
left.
which one are you? This one
This
over.
one.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
So let's see. Oh, that was a good roll. 20 for a hit. So I guess it hits.
20 hits. Absolutely 20 hits. Yes.
And they get 7 points of damage.
Jeez.
7
From a
points
punch?
of damage
Yeah.
from a
Yeah.
from a punch. As you like, you do this super epic moment where you kind of like use one hand to spring over this horse, and with your other hand you kind of do this flying I'm totally forgetting what this move is called, but you know it's this one where it goes to the side, and you take this poor goblin completely by surprise, and with 7 points of damage you knock it to the ground unmoving. It's 7 points is a lot of damage at first level.
So
That
for
is
my second
epic.
attack,
Absolutely.
I'm
Yep.
gonna give like a reverse kick to the other guy.
Okay.
Um,
Hell yeah.
so we'll see. Like this die has been like, ooh, that's a 23 to hit.
Also definitely hits. Go for it.
It's 4 points of damage.
4 points of damage. Epic. So as you are finishing this like slide, punch, and then kick move, you like take this guy out and like kick him into his chest, and he goes flying back. He is grumpy. He's not happy. Is that your whole turn?
That's my turn.
That was a very effective turn, you guys. Like, do you see why I wasn't worried about combat? I know you guys were worried about combat. I wasn't worried about combat.
I'm psyched now.
This is epic. This is epic. Denny, you are up, and Whimsy, you're on deck.
Okay. How close am I to Velen right now?
You are. That's a great question. We can use the measuring tool to find out. You are 35 feet from him.
That's
Nope,
me.
wrong one.
Okay.
That's whimsy, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. 15 feet.
Okay. Okay. Well then, in that case, I'm going to duck out of my bush, and it'll carry me over to Velen, and I'm going to cast Heroism on Velen. So it's any willing creature I touch is imbued with bravery, which means that Velen will be immune from being frightened and gains temporary hit points equal to my spellcasting modifier. So you get 4 hit points. So I don't have any healing spells.
You know what? That is a pretty epic way of doing that. I
Okay.
already love the Denny Bard. That is an amazing way of managing that. So that is amazing. So you run over, reaching out your hand. I gotta switch back away from my tool. Reaching out your hand. Did you want to be there, or you want to be kind of behind him?
I'm going to touch him, but like try and like stay as far away from like any other like sources of danger that I can, because I want to
problem.
save him, but I am also here for me. So
Okay, we can even say that you like move past him and kind of get behind Graja and kind of touch him as you go.
perfect. Okay, yeah,
And-
just do it.
And do you say anything to him to like help him be courageous in this moment?
Well, if I'm just running past, I'm just gonna give him a good slap on the ass and be like, "Go get him, tiger!" as I run fast away.
Absolutely. A little bit of finger gun action
Yeah.
and get him moving. Fantastic. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
I'm going to try to find another bush that's close on the other side and just kind of duck into that.
Sure. Make me a stealth check.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's gonna be a 7.
A 7. You know what? You kind of like head first dive in, and then you realize it's probably like a berry bush, so there's a little bit of like thorns and brambles, and you're like,
No.
oh, maybe I don't totally want to be hidden in this thing. But yeah, I mean, look, it's good. It's all good. Excellent turn, Whimsy. What are you? And then Velen, you're going to be on deck.
Whimsy is going to be moving up behind because everyone else is drawing attention.
Sure.
Sorry. I need the right mode. I don't want to draw a line.
I always do that when I'm in the ruler tool and then forget to switch back to the pointer
Right.
tool. Okay.
Out of curiosity, how steep is that hillside, and how well can the others see him right now?
That hillside, you mean down here where the goblins are?
Basically, from where Whimsy is, can anyone see him right now?
Make me a stealth check.
Roll so slow. Uh, 22.
22. You're pretty certain that these goblins are fairly focused on the ambush point and not on you. So you're feeling like probably there's no eyes on you.
What about my friends, though?
Your friends. Oh, can your friends see you? They also seem to be pretty focused on the battle. If you had some way of maybe getting a hold of them, or had you pre-planned with any of them that you were going to go and like hide off to the side and still be there for their support?
I did not. But that's okay. 'Cause that's
So
kind of the point.
probably as you go and you're like hiding it kind of behind this little bushy patchy area at the bottom of this cliff, you're like, okay, yeah, next time we are going to do some battle drills, and I am going to make sure that they know that this is my plan, and it's like, I'm going to file this away for next time.
No, he's happy no one can see him because
excellent.
he's going to fire off an Eldritch Blast that no one can see and see how this stuff his daddy gave him works.
Lovely, lovely. Go ahead and roll your Eldritch Blasts. And can you tell me who you're attacking? Just like
I'm
straight up the
attacking-
mountain towards this guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. Straight shot.
Okay. Go for it.
And that is 15.
15 is exactly what you needed. 15 matches there. These goblins have kind of like this cobbled together leather armor pieces. Some of them have extra pieces in places. You can tell they have a little bit more prowess and battle, but between them their AC is about 15, so that's exactly what you needed.
All right. Well, then he fires off a stream of sparkly mauve energy and does 8 damage with an Eldritch Blast.
You guys are amazing for first level characters.
Damn.
Just be aware that as you shoot off this this basically like Roman candle of sparkles, you may not be as hidden as you once thought that you were, because that left a pretty clear trail. However, the good news is that, holy crap, man, at 8 damage, that that's quite a bit, man. Yeah, that dude, just as you like shoot him right in the butt with your Eldritch Blast. I mean, you get him like full on back, and he kind of yelps in pain and falls down into this bush that he was standing in. You're not totally sure what that means, but for the moment, he's unmoving. So it's probably a good thing. And with that being said, it is the goblins' turns. So we're going to start with these two. Oh, don't lose my dice. Don't lose my dice. Okay. So that one's done. That one's done. This guy here is going to take a shot at Velen, because that's who he was already shooting at. Oh, it would help if
Can't
I
possibly
had
hit me twice.
help if I
Don't
had
say that.
Please.
Don't say
Enjoy
it.
it.
He rolled a natural 20.
What? Oh.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was a thing that happened. And so that is, how come I can't seem to roll my hit damage here? Because normally it shows me what the damage is. Okay. Oh my goodness, you guys. I did not show up to just be killing people on the first day. You take, I need a d6.
He's got the extra 4, so that's something.
It's something.
Max they can do, I think, is no, never mind.
So I just want my players and our viewers to know that this is a Canadian set of dice, and the first time that I picked up my d20 today, I rolled a 20, and when I just rolled my d6, I rolled max damage. So that's 14 points of damage there, Velen.
Oh no.
Big oof.
Down.
Ow.
Velen goes, so as this goblin pulls open, you Graja, you see this. You saw Velen take an arrow, and it like sliced through the meat of his arm, and you heard him kind of grunt in pain. And as you look over, you see this goblin, this other goblin, this nasty looking, he's got like drool and foam frothing at the mouth. And he pulls back his arrow and just leisurely takes his time lining up a shot as Velen is looking down at his arm. And this arrow goes like at an angle right through the like underarm and shoulder piece of where Velen's armor is, and sinks deep into his chest. And Velen, you can hear kind of like a gurgling, and Velen falls to the ground. It's not great. That's not a great thing that just happened there, friends. This goblin is going to attack Jart with the scimitar, and they are rolling so good, you guys. I don't understand. It auto rolls at advantage, I guess. 18 to hit. Does that hit you? Yeah, that hits Jart for sure, right?
Yeah, it hit.
Okay. And that does 4 points of damage to you. And then these two goblins are going to rush up and attack Graja with their scimitars. 23 to hit and a 6 to hit. So only one of them hits.
Yep.
And that's 6 points of damage to Graja.
Okay. I think I can put it in there. There we go. Okay.
Okay. Velen. So Graja, you're on deck. Velen, as
Mhm.
this burning pain erupts from like under your arm and into your chest, your vision starts to go dark, and you're having a hard time breathing. Um, what what are your thoughts? What's racing through your head as your tunnel vision starts to go to black?
Well, I'm having trouble breathing, sucking in a breath. This isn't right. Um, and I'm remembering the first time that I truly experienced, um, I guess, a communion of sorts between the surface and the water where my mother was from, and uh, breathing water for the first time as a sort of a shock, because I didn't know I could until then. Um, and my thought is, why isn't it working now?
Okay. Roll a death saving throw, please, for me.
Where's that roll? How do I do that?
Roll a d20.
It's just a
and
d20.
Oh, there we go.
you get 10 or more.
Oh, that's management. That's saves. Trying to find it on roll 20.
You
Up in
can
the corner.
roll on D&D Beyond as well.
Oh yeah. Sorry, that's where I'm looking. Sorry.
Oh,
So in
Beyond.
the bottom left corner of your screen, there's like a little d20. It's in red.
Yep.
And you click that, and then the top one is a d20, and you click
Oh.
it once, and then roll.
And then just roll.
I just track the death save. I don't actually roll on the.
Correct.
Come on, one.
No.
Figure I can-
What is
Stop!
wrong with you?
How dare you?
The failure nonetheless at an 8.
Dang
At
it.
an 8.
Okay, it's an 8.
So you're as you're trying to breathe, and these memories are swirling around, it occurs to you that your breath is catching, and that there's like some, you're used to seeing sea foam at the surface where the waves kiss the beach every time they come in and out, and it occurs to you that foam is starting to gather at your mouth.
Oh, that's fine.
Raja. Raja,
Okay.
you have just left the big town, and just a few hours ago even just a few minutes ago, you were vibrant and filled with life, and things were amazing, and you were getting to see so much, and things have gone horribly awry for you.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that very much right now. So before I take my action here, Graja's looking over at Velen, and there's a moment of freeze, because it's up until this point, Graja has been just kind of traveling by herself, and maybe there's been small battles here and there, but she didn't have to worry about anybody but just making sure she walked out of those encounters. And now, like, she just, they've only had a couple of conversations, but she's like, he was supposed to teach me how to swim, and like we were supposed to be friends, but it's with that sort of feeling of fear and disappointment that I would like to. I don't know when the bonus action happens. Can that happen before?
Yeah, you can take so movement, action, and bonus action. You can move at any point. Like, you can even begin movement, do an action, and then end your movement. You can take those kind of in any order, unless there is like a specific reason why in the instructions for it says this has to happen after or this has to happen before.
Okay, it doesn't have any of those qualifiers as far as I know. So I don't think I need to move to be within hitting distance of these two goblins. Is that correct?
Say that one more time.
I don't think I have to move any, like, to be able to
No,
strike them.
you are in melee. You are in
Okay,
melee.
so cool. I will. So I'm going to summon my rage in that moment. Sometimes it's hard to bring up for Graja with this sort of joie de vivre that she normally has, but now it's coming, I think, from a very more visceral present place.
Yeah.
So I gain some advantages from that for the rage. So with that, I would like to draw my great axe and attack this one. I'm not sure how to make the little ping.
If you just like click and hold.
Hold.
Oh, click and hold. Okay, so I want this one. That's kind of
Okay.
closest to Velen right now.
Perfect. Attack him.
Okay. So I will attack with my great axe. So I roll to hit.
Yes.
Oh my god. 15?
15 hits. 15's what you needed.
Okay.
That's fine.
Just barely. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Ooh.
A hit's a
Whew.
hit.
Okay. So then I roll for damage.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Come on. Ooh. 16.
16 points of damage?
What?
Yeah, because I have
Oh,
11.
shit.
Because it's 11. It's a 1d12. I rolled an 11, and then I have a plus my.
Plus
It says
five.
plus 5. So then that's 16.
Jesus.
I
Plus your
slam dunk
raging.
him into the core of the earth.
Plus your raging, right? So
yes,
you
I
get
am.
another 2 damage to that.
Yes, plus 2 melee damage with strength weapons.
Yeah.
So that's 18.
Okay, so here's
That's
how
nuts.
this works. Here's how this works. You have 1 attack per round, correct? Yes.
I
Good.
don't know how I tell that.
Under where it
Yeah,
says
because
actions, it
This
says
one said
attacks per action.
two-handed. Like the axe is a two-handed, so it would be 1.
Okay, yeah, I think it's just 1.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? That's okay, because in this moment, and for one of our home rules that we're going to play by, is when you have enough damage to take out the thing that you're attacking and to fully take out the thing that you're attacking that's next to it, you get a twofer. And basically, Graja, you, Denny, and Whimsy, you guys see this pretty clearly. That, and even Jart, I would say, because you like back kicked that goblin, you see very clearly something happens to Graja. The green just becomes a little bit more intense in her face, and you see her tusks, not that they grow, but they become more prominent in her face. And as she holds back with her great axe and swings it around, for a second you're like, oh, she's gonna hit Velen, this is super bad. And she just like does like this, like, you know when you're driving in a car and you put your hand out like dolphin style? She does that with her great axe. She kind of brings it up and over Velen's head and swoops it down and around these 2 goblins. The great axe goes through, slicing clean off the head of the one. Black ichor and blood just go spewing. Her force and her rage, you hear this guttural growl come from her, and it is so intense that her axe doesn't stop swinging. It carries on through the second goblin, severing its head as well. It is a mess. And there is going to be, whoever is about to perform a medicine check on Velen is going to have to separate the absolute murder scene that has just happened. But Graja just decapitated 2 goblins in one strike, and it is ferocious. There is like a terror to it that that was truly unexpected. That you did not expect to see that level of frightening, grave consequences from this otherwise happy-go-lucky. You know, you had heard, many of you had heard things about orcs over the years, And you didn't want to be that one to like stereotype, but there might be some truth to what they say. And she just sits there with the axe kind of at one side and blood just like dripping off of it. And just this growling grunt emanates from deep within her. Graja, amazing turn. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
I don't really know what my options are.
You have some movement.
And if you want, you can drag Belen with half your movement, just in case.
You can drag him back
Yes.
like behind you.
Yes, let us do that. I would like to grab Velen so he is behind me, especially out, as much as I can get him out of the view of these two other ones that are still there.
Sure.
Okay.
You just like without even dropping a stride, you swing like this and reach your hand down and pull him behind you. Denny, all of a sudden you feel like a heavy body slump against you into the bush. And Velen is there at your side. Epic first round of combat.
Woo!
You guys,
yeah!
That was insane.
Yo, I'm hyped right now.
Dude, this is so epic.
I'm
beautiful.
so sad I finished my drink because that really deserves a toast.
Honestly, like viewers, raise a glass to my players because I have the best table and you can fight me over it.
Ooh, Graja will slam dunk you into the Forgotten Realms.
Oh,
that's
so
what someone
good.
said. Not Earth, Forgotten Realms.
That's right.
Slam.
I love it. Okay, so going back up to the top of our initiative, Jart, what are you up to?
Okay, after looking all over that, I really don't like the guy on top with the bow.
Okay.
So how high is that slope?
That embankment is like a good sized half pipe. It's about 10-ish feet.
Okay. So what Jared's gonna do is she's gonna kind of jump on the face of this goblin.
Okay.
Kind of kicking him in the face to keep him down.
Okay.
Let's see if we can kill that guy. It hits. Is a 23 to hit? 21
Definitely
to hit.
hits. Yeah, absolutely hits.
So he receives 6 points of damage.
6 points. You kick him hard are you going to like you're trying to do like a crouching tiger hidden dragon thing where you kick off of him to get up onto the embankment? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, no problem. So give me an athletics check.
Napping his neck on the way.
Athletics or acrobatics?
Athletics
Okay.
or acrobatics. I will say because you're a monk, I will let you choose which one you want that to be.
Okay, that's a 19. I'm gonna
Beautiful.
take the die out because it's been rolling so well.
Don't take the die out. Use that die. I love that die. That die is giving us cinematic moments aplenty. I love it. Keep using it.
And I'm gonna basically like run through the slope and try to hit this guy.
Okay.
In
Go
the
ahead.
face.
Roll your attack.
It hits. Is a natural 16.
Yeah, that will hit. Absolutely.
A 19. I did 7 points of damage.
What?
Jart
yeah,
is so
epic.
good.
That's my max damage.
So
7.
as you leap off of this one, like kicking hard, like almost like a swimmer's kick, kicking off of that goblin at your side, you leap up and just like in this almost slow motion from the goblin's point of view, he's kind of like looking down, aimed at Velen, and then all of a sudden he looks up as you like come power Sparta jumping down over him and just rocket a hand into his face, knocking him out cold. He is
Jesus.
out like a light. We're gonna continue on with with initiative just for a moment because there is so much going on in this scene. Denny, what is going on for you?
Well, since I am currently being crushed, I am going to try to heal my friend by rolling a medicine check.
Okay. Do you have a healer's kit?
I do not, unfortunately. I have
Okay.
a very comprehensive sewing kit, so I can definitely sew that wound up, but I don't have a medicine kit, unfortunately.
So when you're rolling your medicine check, what are you, I'll say, okay, I'll let you roll it, but how well you're able to stabilize or treat him is affected by the fact that you don't have a medicine kit.
Okay. Do you want me to roll with disadvantage then?
Sure.
Okay.
That's a good way of managing this, yes.
Okay. Well, the first one was a 2.
Okay. As you go to turn around, the first thing that catches you isn't the sight, it's the smell. That coppery metallic-y smell that just like coats your tongue, and just it's so bad. And then you notice that same thick shafted black feathered arrow that was in the horses is sticking out of like Velen's like side here, possibly lung. You're not totally sure. What you know is this is bad, and this needs to get fixed. And this moment of panic kind of overwhelms you, and in this moment you're not really able to do much for him. But because you didn't roll a natural 1, you didn't like try and pull it out and catch an artery or something, so yay. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
Bonus. I am also going to just kind of like poke my head out or like from underneath of Velen and like look around with like panic, absolute manic panic on my face. Like, somebody please help me. Please help me. Please help me.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. And you do so. You are very convincingly panicked. Whimsy, what are you up to?
Whimsy also saw Jart take a flying leap up the hill, and he's not alone now. So he's gonna run over and check on what happened to that one he shot and make sure he's down.
Yeah. As you go over and you're standing up on the embankment, give me a perception check.
Perception. That is a... Oh, it rolls forever. 18.
18. As you're looking down at this goblin, it is not moving. You really got it in the keister, and if it were still alive, it would be having a very bad day tomorrow. But it is not still alive. Interestingly, the other thing that you see is Denny's head poke out of this berry bush that's on the side of the road, and you notice Denny's eyes. Denny's eyes are wild and frantically searching for something, you don't know what, and that's when you notice that Denny's hands are around Velen, and you notice a thick arrow sticking out of Velen's side.
All right. Well, also not a healer.
Yeah, we don't have any healers in our party, viewers. And I was like, you guys, it'll be fine that we don't have any healers. It'll be fine. Don't stress about it. And now I've killed my DM from my Tuesday game, so I'm sure that's not going to come back to bite me.
I feel it's our fault not to buy healers kits. Just saying.
Oh, well, that's
Fairness
about my
notwithstanding,
first priority.
That's in character. None of our characters thought of it either.
Nope, that's true. That's true.
They're all a bunch of useless dorks as well.
Yep, absolutely.
So Whimsy doesn't see anything else, but he is going to take out his quarterstaff and hit the body one more time for good measure.
Yeah.
Just to make it like as a bit of play acting for Jart. So he's like, yeah, showed him.
Absolutely. And you do, and as you hit it, it's just like not even like it's unconscious and it reacts to you. It is dead, and it's just like hitting like wet potatoes that have been sitting in a dark cabinet for too long, and they're kind of like soft. It just like it's not, it's, you might have to clean off your quarterstaff later. But Jart, like, dude, that was pretty epic, the way that Whimsy just showed up and like knocked this goblin dead. That quarterstaff might be something worth training on.
I like that.
Jart, will you give me a perception check for me?
Sure. It's another one.
We needed one at least in every
Balance.
game. That's okay. You did it. Congratulations. You are like seriously looking at that quarterstaff and being like, I don't think I've ever trained with anything like that before. That's a pretty amazing quarterstaff. However, Whimsy, you hear a kind of rustling in the bushes behind you. And as you turn around and throw a glance over your shoulder, you see movement moving away from you guys into the forest that's behind you. So you see the movement kind of about here-ish, and it is moving this way.
It was moving which way? Off into the shrubbery?
Away, like up to the top of the map.
Did I use my action hitting the dead body?
You did. And the perception check to like hear the movement. You can tell, you can shout if you want to, you can let somebody know. Crying is a free action.
He's not gonna cry.
Velen.
He is probably gonna manically chase after whatever it is, though.
Okay, so
Whimsy's gonna run after it.
Okay, so you get ready to kind of turn and move after it.
Yeah.
Velen, you feel kind of a warm embrace as Denny grabs you kind of up and under your shoulders, and kind of props you up a little bit. It makes it, it's not easy to breathe, but it makes it a little bit easier. And what thoughts are going through your mind right now? What memories do you have?
My adopted father, the old sailor that raised me, teaching me the wayfinding, I guess, the navigation on a ship sort of thing, because I would be small. I was small for my age as a young boy, and he would sort of be standing behind me. He'd be this bearish presence holding onto the wheel of the ship and pointing out, particular stars and things like that. And so I'd be sort of hemmed into this little cage, I guess, of my protective guardian and the ship. I'm like, no, that's not right. My side hurts.
Yeah. This pain starts to infiltrate your memory as you're trying to focus on it. Give me a death saving throw, please.
20, 20, 20, 20.
Oh my god. 6. That's 2 fails.
God.
Oh no.
Velen, that pain is burning more intensely, and it's not just in your side, it's in your lungs, and your head is starting to pound, and You see Denny's very handsome face, but even and it is a pleasant way, I guess, to go out if that's Velen's thing. But that the darkness starts to overtake you. Graja, raging and angry and worried, and where are you? What are you doing?
Okay, so it's my understanding that all combatants are neutralized that are within my sight.
Correct. You
Okay.
do see. I'll give it to you freely. That you
Okay.
see Whimsy pull one of these and turn around like they're going to go chase, like he's going to go chase something into the forest.
Okay. I think what I'm going to do is, as a bonus action, drop my rage
Sure.
state, because it looks like there's kind of penalties if you're not attacking on the same turn. So, I'm gonna drop my rage state, and with that, like, I feel like with Graja, some of that cortisol, adrenaline that was like propelling her to make this kind of incredible strike that probably normally would make her very pleased and very proud of herself. Instead, like, I think the sort of adrenaline crash begins as soon as she drops that state and is looking at Velen, who, I mean, is the deterioration is apparent, I'm sure, at this point. And she, her face just looks like anguish. And okay, so for my action, can I try the same thing that Denny did with the medicine?
You absolutely can. So every time that that you guys are trying something that somebody else has done for the same thing, the difficulty gets higher.
Oh shit.
No.
So
I
if
didn't-
there's something else you can think of doing, you're welcome to, but the difficulty does get higher when that happens.
Okay, I mean, I feel like I looked through my inventory and I mean, like, I don't, there's nothing that can help him here besides me trying to do this again.
Sure.
Okay, so I am gonna try it. So I'm gonna kind of take, maybe like if Denny's still, are you still kind of like holding him?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna just sort of like crouch down as Denny's holding him, and then medicine check.
Medicine check. Correct.
Okay, come on,
And
dice.
you don't have a healer's kit, correct?
No,
So
no,
you
I
use a
don't.
disadvantage.
How does that
One.
work with on D&D Beyond being
So
disadvantage?
right click it, and it will
Oh.
say disadvantage.
Great. Okay, cool beans. That's wow, so great. Okay. Here I go.
You got this.
10.
Okay.
You manage to look down and see that this arrow is still, as Velen is fighting for breath, this arrow is moving and possibly causing more damage. And just in this kind of like moment of, oh my god, this is not what I came here to do, and as that rage is kind of melting off your body, you just make a clean snap and break the arrow so that at least it's not like rubbing up and trying to fight for movement around the armor. You manage to help Denny get Velen into a position where it still sounds bad. Like the breathing is ragged and shallow, and there is liquid coming up. It's not a good situation, but you have not done any harm, and possibly you have maybe given him a little bit more time. It's certainly, at the very least, you've made him a little bit more comfortable in what you can only assume will be his final moments.
And I'm assuming that is at this point that Graja starts crying for sure. Like maybe not like heaving sobs, but there are tears coming down and she's trying to like repress it as she's, doing this like kind of minimal assistance to Velen.
Um, at first you taste this kind of saltiness on your tusk, and you're not sure at first that it's not like weird goblin salt blood. You're not sure really what that is. And it occurs to you only then that tears are just streaming down your face, as you are in your own head, as well as being present at the last few moments of your new friend's days. There is an honor to it. Like in your society, going to your end in battle, there is honor in that, and this is painful. This is not the worst way. And you try to find some solace in that, if only for yourself, although you're not sure that anybody else would understand that at this moment. Jart, you are so focused on this quarterstaff of amazing badassery, and so it's only when Whimsy turns it and plants it in the ground to take off running that it like catches your vision that it's moved, and you look up to see Whimsy focused on something in the grasses, in the bushes behind you, and you kind of sense that there's something more happening.
Okay. Even though Jard would like to follow Whimsy, she can also see that something dramatic's going on.
Yeah.
Like across the path. So what she's gonna do is she's gonna start searching the bodies that are nearby. Try to find a potion, try to find something that can
Okay.
help Belen.
Sure. Give me an investigation check.
Oh god, now I'm scared of my knife.
You've been rolling amazing.
Yeah, now it's time to
Up until now.
pay. Okay, it wasn't that bad. So it's a 10.
You tear through these bodies. Like you lift one up, shake it, nothing comes out. You go on to the next one. You slide down the embankment, and check these two goblins. Coins go scattering, like a little collection of teeth fall out of a pouch. There is a little like roughly carved animal that somebody had like whittled out of a twig or something, and you are like, I don't even care. You are looking for something specific. Healing potions are not necessarily something that goblin soldiers would have, and while you do find other things, it doesn't seem to be what you're looking for.
Oh god. Okay, so Jard, a little defeated, it's gonna walk all the way to everyone to Peter.
Yeah. As this kind of seriousness of this moment dawns on you, your people have traditions around end of life and what that should look like, and it's never that the person should be alone. And so as you come into like this little communion circle, you just see on Graja and Denny's face how serious this moment is.
Yeah, sorry, Whimsy, but and yeah, she's gonna kneel down and place a hand on Belen's shoulder, kind of like expecting the best.
Okay. Denny.
Well, Not really too sure what else I can do in this moment. The horses, do they have packs on them, or are they just
There
they
are
do have packs?
saddlebags. Yeah, there
Okay.
are saddlebags on them.
And Jart, did Jart look through those, or was it just the goblins?
Chart had looked through the goblin bodies.
Okay. I am going to very gently move Velen over to Raja's capable hands
Sure.
and scamper over to the saddlebags and take a look through those as well.
Sure. Make an investigation check for me.
It's going to be a 14.
14. You are looking through and you come up with two different kits. They're small like bundles. One has a pile of like herbs, and it's like a little pouch. They smell like kind of like clove cigarettes. Like they've got like a really pungent, good smell to them. And then there's this other little kit that's got kind of a small pack of bandages. And so there's a chance that you may be able to use something that's here. But your action was searching, so you
Yes.
can't make a medicine check.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just let everyone know. All right, I found a pack. This one smells like herbs, so it's either some sort of a cooking pack, or we can use it for seasoning wounds. I'm not too sure, but someone should maybe try one of these as well. I'm just kind of lob them back over.
Okay. Whimsy, what are you up to?
Whimsy yells friendship and runs off into the shrubs to avenge Velen. So
Okay.
at the top of his lungs, he just screams, friendship! And runs off
Here we go.
into the woods. I already forgot which direction he went. So.
As you go running off, you notice that there are the bobbing heads of two different goblins that are trying to run off away from you. And so I'll say that if you want, you can end up here. And you can make an attack if you'd like to.
All right, I'm out of sight of my friends, so I'm gonna throw down some fun stuff.
Root blast.
Almost instinctively, Whimsy, you kind of look over your shoulder just to double check that nobody's looking at you, as you're still trying to like grapple with whether or not you want them to know about your not warlock status.
Yeah, so there's gonna be a bit of Arms of Hadar going,
Oh,
actually.
Sure, absolutely.
I don't actually, how do I do that?
You have to.
Do I just roll the damage and then see if it hits?
So
Because it's a strength check.
Oh, okay. So the
Then-
goblin has to make a strength check. And what is it trying to roll against?
13.
Okay. It did not. It failed. It rolled an 11.
All right, and that's both of them then, because it's everything in a 10-foot radius from me. And that's
yeah, they both failed. They have a
Yeah.
-1 to their strength.
Okay.
And so now you can roll your damage.
Damage is just taking forever to roll.
No worries.
5 damage each.
5 damage each. And does this does this grapple them? Sorry, I'm just going to look at it.
Yeah, they have Sorry, I'm gonna read my spell off to you.
Tendrils of dark energy erupt from you.
Yeah.
This
Basically,
this
he
purpley
erupts with tentacle monsters.
this purpley mauve energy starts to coalesce and swirl out of like the center of your chest. And as you, this has a verbal component. So as you finish the incantation, the tentacle even like erupts from your mouth and smacks the goblin as the tentacles from around your chest reach out. These tendrils reach out and wrap themselves around the goblin. They take very specifically necrotic damage, so always remember to point out if it's necrotic, because that changes the way that you can heal. And can't take reactions until its next turn. So it is like, oh, and we lost Jart. I'm sure Jart will come right back. And yeah, it's nasty, and you Whimsy, even if others were around you, they wouldn't necessarily be able to, but you can hear kind of this vortexy sound as these tendrils wrap around the goblins. And sorry, how much damage each did they take?
5 damage each.
Beautiful.
Necrotic.
Necrotic. Yeah, necrotic means that they can't, like, it can't get healed back except for at a long rest. Okay. And they can't take their reactions, but they are going to continue to move as far as they can. They are not even trying to a bonus action, they can make nimble escape, so they disengage and then run as quickly as they can using their full action. They disappear into the forest.
I still have motion though, don't I?
Sorry, were you going to move before their turn? Their turn is right after yours.
Right, yeah. No, I'm good.
Okay. Velen. Buddy. You are surrounded by not your family, not your adopted family, the people who lovingly have cared for you. But you are surrounded by a family of sorts, and these last few days have buoyed your spirits, and given you some measure of purpose. Just a spark of life. What are you thinking of in this moment?
I don't know.
It's hard to focus your thoughts. The pain is so intense that even though you're surrounded by these people, this pain is filling and clouding your mind. And in this last second of this mortal coil, what is the most strong, single, simple memory of your life?
A lot of them flash through Velen's head. Even the brief little interludes of the past couple of days, sort of thing. They're sort of this a pastiche, I guess, of little sort of snippets of, hey, these are, people I met, people that I'd like to get to know, like, genuine people, sort of thing. Because he spent his life just being and just finding things that of interest, and he actually likes, because there's no he's free. He has no he's not tied to anything. He's not tied to a purpose, and he finds um, he has. It's hard to say. He's got a sense of purpose of being of sorts. It's less about finding something to do, finding the next hill, fighting the next thing. It's more about uh, comfort in his own skin, of sorts. And in a sort of a weird kind of ironic way, he's kind of found a little niche for himself in this rainbow party of sorts, and he kind of almost recognizes that, remembers sort of thing the rainbows after a thunderstorm, and remembers, and his sort of his consciousness kind of moves, from the deck of a ship to seeing the rainbow, moving towards the rainbow, to feeling the thunder behind the clouds that are moving away slowly, and he's sort of chasing these clouds as an undercurrent of, you do have a purpose, but it's not exactly what you think. So be, but at the same time, cloud chase, I guess.
I will give you the option. Do you want to make this roll, or do you want me to make this roll?
And sorry, just really quick. I haven't played 5e in a little while.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to make bonus actions whenever, or does it have to be on my turn?
Reactions you can make when it's not your turn. Bonus
Okay.
actions can be made on your turn.
Okay.
I don't know, actually. I don't want to take up the time or anything.
It's, you know what? This is something that we make time for at this table. This is unexpected, but this is part of the circle of life. And I never, ever, ever want a player to have to make this final roll if they don't want to. If you want fate or the DM to intervene, I am happy to make this roll for you. Not happy, but I will make it. It's honestly, it's up to you. Honestly, it is up to you. It's not that. I'm not trying to fudge it. The players, like all the viewers, can see my
fair.
screen. They see my rolls.
Let's do it.
Okay. As we all switch over to the D&D Beyond tab to see what the roll turns out to be. I'm sorry to the viewers that you can't see this.
And that's it. 6.
You would think that your last memories would be of this. You would think that your last memories would be of this, these thoughts of home and of family and of these last couple days. But they're not. They are full of frightening loneliness that grips and overwhelms your heart. And as this terror takes hold of you, the last thing that you see is a flash of blue scales. Graja, you holding Denny, having moved Velen into your arms. You are crying and just listening for every single breath, ragged and full of of spit as it comes up, as the lungs have been punctured, and all of a sudden it occurs to you that it is silent, that there is no sound. Velen has passed on to a different plane.
And Graja is trying to feel comforted by a noble death in battle. But the sheer unfairness dredges up all this growing up in a place that was religious, that maybe there's somewhere you go when you die, and all those things from childhood sort of come to her mind as she's looking at his body and crying. And she can't help but just hug him super tight, looking at the beautiful blue scales, hoping that maybe her presence provided a shred of comfort. And she'll sort of then lay him on the ground and stand up and kind of look up to the sky and then look down again. And then kind of just not knowing what to do with herself, she sort of sits with her legs crossed on the ground right next to him and just kind of holds his hand. And she wants to feel angry, but she just feels sad.
I'm going to take us out of initiative, but I'm gonna ask Whimsy, how far are you going to chase these goblins until they're dead?
Until I lose track of them. Like, in theory, they have approximately the same movement as me.
Yeah.
If I can still hear their footsteps or see their path, I'm going to follow them.
Okay. Give me a survival check.
Oh, no. It's not going to go well. Why does the dice take forever to roll across the screen? Like slow motion. Keep going. Keep going. No. That is a 5.
You know, these goblins know these woods. And as the bush gets thicker and bigger, even though you're fairly large, they know the paths. It does strike you that they seem to be coordinated in where they're going. They are not just running away randomly. They do have a path that they're going towards, but it's not long, a few minutes before they have managed to lose you.
All right. I hopefully don't get lost and I turn around and trudge my way back to the group with bad news, unaware of the bad news they have.
Denny, as you are triumphantly holding up these two kits, you just see Graja, and you know what does that mean for Denny?
Well, Denny's going to drop the kits down very defeatedly and slowly walk back over to the scene and just wrap his arms around Graja and just like put a hand on Velen's face and just kind of close his eyes.
Jart, you are standing there and you see Denny come over and try to comfort Graja and make some kind of last rite for Velen. What are the customs of your peoples?
First, it comes like the anger, and her tattoo, well, her mark kind of lights up with that red energy again. And she takes a deep breath and looks at Graja and Denny and says, um, the ways of my people are the ways of fire, but I don't know what he would have wanted to be done.
As you're feeling that intense emotion, Graja, you look up and you see that before, when Jart had started the fire, before there had been like little veins of almost like lava cracks through like obsidian. Now you see a vibrant fire ring cowl of fire around Jart, and not only that, you see these veins running down Jart's arms, and even the ground where Jart's body connects with the ground. Little trickles of lava-y fire are erupting from around them as this overwhelming emotion takes hold. How Whimsy, as you come back, you look on this scene. There is like a glowing energy coming from Jart. You see, you clearly see what has happened here. You know what this looks like, and as you kind of come down the embankment and get closer, is there anything that goes on for Whimsy?
He just quietly walks up, shaking his head as he realizes what happened, and just whispers quietly, mostly to himself. He's like, I'm sorry, I lost them.
How, as a group, would you guys like to, I guess there's a couple of thoughts that I have. One is manage Velen's body, and the second is move forward from here.
Is there a body of water nearby here?
I was thinking the same thing.
As you are quietly just replaying the last, it's really only been like 4 or 5 minutes. It hasn't been a long time. You do hear a quiet brook babbling not far to the south of you.
All right. Denny is going to stand up and walk in the direction of the brook and kind of follow it for a little while, see if it opens up into like a lake or at least a big pond, to see if we can find somewhere to lay Velen to rest.
Yeah, it seems to be like a river that has split off into like a brook, and as you follow this brook up to the north, you notice that this is a it's not like the biggest river you've ever seen, but it's a good sized river. And its swift current is moving towards the southeast. It's coming from the north, from kind of, you follow it for 10-ish minutes, and you do see that it seems to be coming from around a bend, but it's going south.
Okay. All right. I will go back to the group and tell them of my findings. I'm going to turn to Whimsy and say, where did you see the goblins last?
I lost
you-
track of them going almost straight north.
Can you follow the path back, though?
I believe so.
Okay. I think what we should do is put Phandalin on the side of this river so he can have the water with him again. And then we should go fuck up some goblins.
And Graja will like wordlessly pick up Velen's body.
George
just
take off her like sash and cover the body with it.
and Graja will start making her way, I guess, following Denny.
Graja, as you carry Velen's body, it is lighter than you imagined. You get to the side of the river. Are you going to take him into the water, or are you going to leave him at the side?
As Graja reaches that point, still holding him, she'll kind of, I'm assuming everybody is in this same place right now, all the rest of the party. So I'll just kind of look at the three of them and be like, what do you think we should do? I don't know that it's good to put him in the water, because I feel like I don't know what to do. Somebody tell me.
He seemed connected with the water, and I think he'd want to be in the water.
Okay.
Graja, as you step forward, the water is cold, but you don't even feel it on your body as your boots and leather pants start to get soaked. You take him and you lay his body, just kind of holding it like you would teach a child how to float. You just kind of hold it there for a few moments as a silence falls over your party, thinking about what you need to say or what you need to do. Denny, this ferociousness coming into your mind of, this is the action that we are going to take. You have a purpose, whereas 24 hours ago you were a little bit more free-flowing bohemian. There is a purpose to your next steps now. Graja, as you go to release Velen's body, the current slowly picks him up at first and almost rises to gather him from you as it welcomes one of its people back to it. And you all have this moment of finality, as the body starts to slowly float out of Graja's arms. The river picks up speed, and you see the body kind of become tumultuous in the water as it drifts away. And soon you're unable to distinguish whether it is Velen's white, beautiful, puffy shirt or the foam and the waves as the river carries the body of your friend away from you. And you watch as long as you can. And then you each feel this pull, whether it's Denny actually physically pulling you, or whether it's his words. there is unfinished business in order to lay your friend fully to rest. In order, Graja, for him to fully reach the other side, you know that there is vengeance now that must be struck. Your people have this long history of the ways in which death is just the next stage. But you were not ready to say goodbye, and you have unfinished business. Whimsy, despite your name being given to you at birth for the creed that your family had hoped for you, there is something that connects you to a darker and deeper side of this world than your spirit and the energy that you give off belies. And as the four of you are gathered at this riverside, you know that there is a next step. And without communicating with each other, without knowing directly and explicitly from each other, you all turn, and Graja, you emerge from the river, and you all start off silently at first, gathering speed. And as you race off into the forest, Whimsy, you can take them right back to where you were. You guys race off.
That being said, Whimsy does need to take a moment. He is a man of his word, and he's going to move the cart off the road and hide it so they can come back for the cart later.
Absolutely.
Because they do have a mission, and he will finish the mission.
Absolutely.
I actually have something to add on to that if it's relevant.
Of course.
I remember you saying that on one of these horses, I think, was some kind of map, something.
A scroll case.
Yeah, I would like to retrieve that if it's still there.
The map case is there. It is empty.
Oh, okay. All right. That was kind of the only.
But you do take the map case. It does have like this beautiful gold filigree on it. And so you do take it, hoping that you will see Gundren again to be able to return this to him.
Okay, cool. That's the only thing I wanted to add
You
there.
guys take a couple seconds at the cart as Whimsy is moving it off the road to grab some rations to look through. And Denny, you do retrieve those kits. Yeah, absolutely. You find some in that cart. And you each grab, you can each add 2 healer's kits to your packs. Velen. As your body floats down the river, you don't feel it because you have no connection to the physical body anymore. But a hard set of scales erupts from your back and starts to cover, overlapping and interweaving until it forms around your entire body. These hard, thick blue scales, very different than fish scales, very different than the scales of your people. They completely surround you, almost like a cocoon. And as your body gets washed down the river, these scales, as they erupt, shred your clothing, and you end up in just this. Your body ends up in this tightness, this interlocking, like pill case of scales. And as your eyes open, it's not nature that you see. It's not your friends' smiling faces. It is a white porcelain mask, a dark black cloak over with lace and velvet and leather. But this white porcelain mask, red, ruby red painted lips, and dark, hollow eyes. And you hear a woman's voice issue out from behind this mask. And she says, The deal that was struck for your soul prevents me from taking you this day. But I will. You will be mine, and you will face your consequences. The punishment of being back there needs to go on further for my side of the deal to be upheld. And she pushes your head, she like palms your forehead and pushes you, and as she does, a dark black mist swirls underneath you as you are pushed out of the divine gate, out of the plane, and coldness covers your body. Chilling coldness. You hear screams of torment. You hear cries begging for mercy. There is a darkness and wrenchingness to this that your soul understands it has a history of causing. And you feel powerful in this moment. You don't feel empathetic. You don't feel sorry for the chaos and anguish that you feel around you. You feel powerful in this moment.
Whoa. It's going. Wow. Do I the anguish, the cries, are any of them identifiable? Do I?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Hmm. $14.
You hear 1,000 languages of pain and suffering. Every language known to man and beyond. Celestial, orcish, halfling, goblin, elven, dwarven, every language that is spoken by creature, including the plants and the animals. Nature itself cries out in pain. And you feel good about it. This is the way that things should be. Things tremble at your power. And in this moment, you feel the arrow re-pierce your side. And then you feel an axe swung through your neck. You feel a dagger pierce up through your kidney. You feel the taste of poison spread through your mouth. You see yourself die once, twice, 6 times, 12 times, 20 times. You see the body of Velen Thundersoul die over and over and over in the most painful ways imaginable. And in a split second, you know why. And then you just hear a chanting, an incantation rise up around you not just the language of the arcane, but the language of the broken, the language of the oppressed, the language of peoples who were subjugated cry out together. And you take a deep breath, and the scales explode from around your body, and you are naked and in a river, and it is dark outside. And you have no memory of how you got there. You have no memory of where you came from. You have no memory of people you were traveling with. And as your body washes up on a bank, you're just exhausted. And you close your eyes to fall asleep for a few moments.
Wow. Cool.
So many questions.
That's a lot to take in.
So, even though it's a few minutes early, I think this is a really good place to stop and
Yep.
let people just decompress. I so desperately wish that I could have been seeing the chat for these last 2 hours. Please feel free to put in your guesses as to what you think is happening. I know it sounded like a case of Deus Ex Machina, but I swear to you that while I didn't anticipate it happening at level 1, people have histories, and Phandalin certainly does. So I'll go around and get everybody to introduce themselves, talk about any other projects that they have, and yeah. Oh, Cattail. Okay, let's start
Yeah.
with you.
He came to steal the math rocks.
So this has been Phandalin by night. I'm gonna get around. I'll go up and around. So let's start just above me with our tiefling bard Denny.
Hi, everybody. I am not really working on any projects at the moment, but you can find me on Instagram at I'm Poppy Fields. I occasionally do really, really lackluster cosplay and mostly post about my cats. So come for good times and cats.
Love a cat. Love a good cat. I have at least a couple myself. Thank you, and thank you for. I'm sorry that I ruined your makeup.
That's okay. It was
was
all
not
for
my
the
intention.
story.
It was not my intention today. Mike.
Hi. I'm still reeling. I don't know if anybody else is confused at all hell, but I guess I'm the only player here because I don't know any of these other jokers, so I don't know who these people are. Never met them before in my life. Mike, he, him. Bellin, also he, him. I think still. You can catch my pre and post COVID cosplay adventures at Canadian Captain America, CDN Cap America on Twitter. You can catch me here on Sundays, I think still. You can catch me on, on Saturdays, the Vampire Takeover, Saturday Takeover on this very channel as well at noon, playing a character, and then stick around for all the rest of them. You can catch me on Tuesdays, where I'm the DM for another 5e campaign of Would Be Heroes. That's about it.
Okay, awesome. Sarah Prime.
is this what D&D is like? What is going on? I don't even know what's possible. I don't even know what's possible in this game. So you're describing what's happening with Velen, and I'm like, I don't have any clue. Okay, my name is Sarah. You can find me at MC Diabetes on Twitter. I'm a creative partner at Martlet Games. If you're interested in Vampire the Masquerade, I just finished up storytelling a historical 5th edition chronicle that you can find on the Martlet Games YouTube. Season 1 is all wrapped up for the most part. So go and check that out. I'm also part of the Saturday Vampire Takeover with Mike on the same show, Vancouver by Night Delve into Darkness. As he said, it's on 12 Pacific. We are actually on the next 2 weeks on our mid-season break. But please check out all the Vancouver stuff on that show, Vancouver adjacent on Level Up, and then Philly by Night on Rolling D's 20s after that, in that whole glorious day of Vampire. Follow Martlet Games on all the social media, and me as well at MC Diabetes to see my projects. But that's it. I'm shook.
I am literally shaking. I was not prepared. Amanda.
Diving deep into the big feels right off the bat. Whimsy's had some ups and downs. He is a little shaken by all this, not sure what to make of it. Adventure is not just stories and heroes, apparently. Amanda, I'm Amanda, she, her. Whimsy's still he, they, and you can find me at Balderdashing on Instagram. I don't do a lot, though, so there's not much there.
We're going to start a Cats of Phandalin by Night Instagram. I think we all need that. Chart.
Hi, I'm Najra, aka Najra Creations. He is Loki, the little tail. Sarah, what an amazing game! Like, thank you.
Yeah, extreme props to the DM for this one. Wild, very, very good.
All the feels. But yeah, I'm a professional cosmaker. You can follow me at Najra or Najra Creations. The link's in the chat. And I do cosplay, or if you want a commission, I'm here for you. And thank you for being here, guys.
And as mentioned, I am Sarah. I am your DM. You can find me at smorad on Twitter. And Tuesday nights, Mike, you can tune in Tuesday to watch my character get killed by Mike on our other D&D property here at Vancouver by Night. Tune in next week to see how our group of 4 gets on with the Goblin Chase, and to see what happens next for Velen. And thank you guys for joining. I am so looking forward to going back and reading through any of the Twitch chat. Thank you for staying with us. And we will. We're throwing to somebody, right? Does somebody know if Steve is sending us to somebody? I know that in a couple more weeks, I should say, Vancouver by Night has a Patreon. Feel free to contribute to that, which goes towards getting the channel a better gaming or a streaming rig, so that we don't have to host it from my MacBook, so that I can then get back into Twitch chat. And also there is, in a couple of weeks, starting a Changeling game that will be on right after we finish. So I don't know very much more about that, but I'm super excited for it. So stay tuned for more information about that. And as Mike said, Tuesday is the Would Be Heroes. It's another D&D 5e. And then Saturday is the Vampire Takeover. We start on here on Vancouver by Night and then go over. I think there's at least 2 other streams that the story continues on to, correct? So yes, thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next Sunday.
Raiding Dimples and Dice.
Bye.
So stick around for the raid.
Dice.
Okay.
To actually click on.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.